I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Continuing in Ezekiel, this will be chapter 5. Again, this is still in the 5th year, although in chapter 4 he talked about laying on his side for 390 days and eating the bread for 390 days. And that's going to be a little over a year. So this might be in the 6th year now. But we're not, it's kind of fuzzy there, because we're not exactly sure what was meant in chapter 4. So it could still be the 5th year, but this could have been, time is probably moving forward a little bit, so it could be the 6th year by now. But still, several years away from the destruction of Jerusalem. Lehi and his family are still in the wilderness. The Jaredites are experiencing the early stages of collapse. And Jeremiah is still back in Jerusalem, desperately trying to save the people. Ezekiel chapter 5. The judgment of Jerusalem shall include famine, pestilence, war, and the scattering of her inhabitants. And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife, take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thine head and upon thy beard. Then take thee balances to weigh and divide the hair. Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city, when the days of the siege are fulfilled. And thou shalt take a third part and smite about it with a knife, and a third part thou shalt scatter in the wind. And I will draw out a sword after them. Thou shalt also take thereof a few in number, and bind them in thy skirts. Then take them again, and cast them into the midst of the fire, and burn them in the fire. For thereof shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel. So this is another odd performative prophecy. Shave your head and beard, and then you're going to burn 1/3 of it, you're going to chop 1/3 of it up, and you're going to scatter 1/3 of it to the wind. Except just save a little bit back, tie it up in your skirts for a few days, and then burn it. Hopefully he tells us what this is all supposed to mean, although you can kind of see it. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord God, this is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations, countries that are round about her. And she hath changed my judgments into wickedness more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that are round about her. For they have refused my judgments and my statutes, they have not walked in them. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, because ye multiplied more than the nations that are round about you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I, even I, am against thee, and will execute judgments in the midst of thee, in the sight of the nations. And I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more the like, because of all thine abominations. Therefore the fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds. Wherefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things, and with all thine abominations, therefore will I also diminish thee, neither shall mine eye spare, neither will I have any pity. So just a rundown of Israel's or Judah's wickedness and abominations and why they're being judged. And note the comparison is, you guys have my law, and you're not following it. They don't have my law, and yet they're following it better than you do. So you're going to have to be punished. You're going to have to take the judgment. Verse 12. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence, and with famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about thee. And I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. Thus shall mine anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. And they shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my fury in them. Moreover, I will make thee waste, and a reproach among the nations that are round about thee, in the sight of all that pass by. So it shall be a reproach and a taunt, an instruction and an astonishment unto the nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgments in thee in anger, and in fury, and in furious rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken it. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So will I send unto you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, have spoken it. So there we go. We got the meaning of his performative prophecy. 1/3 is burnt in the fire to represent pestilence and famine destroying the people within the city. 1/3 is chopped up to represent those who will be destroyed by the sword, those who will be killed by the sword. 1/3 is scattered into the wind because 1/3 of Israel will survive but be in captivity among foreign lands and scattered throughout the nations. We leave that here, and we will see you in chapter 6.